Bournemouth 2, Manchester United 2. How Man United walk away with a point is absolutely unbelievable. Another shocking, dreadful, uninspiring, downright embarrassing performance from Manchester United with no intensity. Everybody doing different things, the defensive line all over the place, so much space afforded to our opponents. United as a club embarrass me right now when I watch us play football. We are the worst footballing team in the Premier League. This is a fact. We are going to move on to Manchester United a little bit more in this game. We are going to break the game down. But as I've done all season, I'm on a personal mission, if you want to call it that. I have an agenda when you call out these poor refereeing decisions. The penalty that Manchester United were awarded was a travesty. A travesty. Now, as a Man United fan, am I glad we got it and we scored? Yes, on a personal level. But I can put that feeling aside and look at this objectively. This is never a handball in a month of Sundays. Yes, his elbow comes out, but it's pretty close to his body. The ball deflected. It was not deliberate in any way, shape, or form. And if my team were to concede this, I would be absolutely fuming. I would be absolutely seething if we conceded a penalty just like this. Now, I understand the deflection happens and there's a good 6-7 yards between the player, but he doesn't move his arm out to the ball. His arm just kind of comes up because he doesn't want it to hit his arm, which makes it look like he moves it towards the ball. If you've not played football, maybe you don't understand it. I don't know if these referees have played, but he doesn't move his arm to the ball, like goes out to stop it from getting to somebody. He actually thinks it's going to hit his arm, so he kind of tries to move out the way to a degree, and it hit him. It was a complete accident. Man United given life. But another shocking decision from the referee and another shocking decision from VAR. And just as I did when Man United played Wolves opening weekend of the season, I will call these decisions out when they benefit my team. I am not like, and I mean this, I don't care how arrogant it sounds, I'm going to say it. I'm not like the vast majority of others in this space who only call it out when it's against them and sit there and sort of sniggle and laugh and banter when they benefit from these poor decisions. We as football fans must call this out. And the most painstaking element is that right at the death, Bournemouth were awarded a penalty. And it was a foul. But VAR did its job and they checked and it was outside the box. So it couldn't be a penalty and a free kick was given. The irony in that is that Willie had both his feet planted on the floor. It was a coming together. Surely that's not a penalty. No, it's a foul. If you attempt to win a ball, just because your feet are then suddenly planted, if you then obstruct a player, bang into a player, trip a player up, it's a foul. It's always been a foul. I told you all that Tuesday night. Said it Tuesday night. And I literally said on that show, when so many people were trying to cook me, you will see it happen this weekend in the Premier League. You will literally see a player beat another and then hit into and fall over and a foul's going to be given. Feet planted or not, it doesn't matter. Big Willie went for the ball. He missed it. Christie was fouled. But VAR did its job and rightfully awarded the free kick. There would have been an element of justice for Bournemouth if they'd have got that penalty and if they would have scored it. I understand it. But what you can't do, and again, I think this is a mentality more people need to adopt in life in general, just because Bournemouth were robbed and a wrongful penalty was given, shouldn't mean Man United should suffer the same fate. We should be looking up, not down. We should be looking for better decisions more frequently than saying, I don't care, just do more bad decisions. More bad decisions to equal it out. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I would like to see the same energy when Man United get screwed. We very rarely do. But as I say, absolute not a penalty in any way, any shape, or any form for me. It was an absolute horrendous, an absolute horrendous decision. And I expect an apology to come out soon. I expect there to be something in writing. Bournemouth should take action. I've been saying this. I disagree with Carragher. I disagree with Gary Neville. Clubs should be taking action, legal action if they have to, against the PG MOL. There's not a handball in a month of Sundays, just the same as the one earlier on in the game against Maguire was not a handball. Not on your Nelly, was it? Now, in terms of the game, I'm probably going to say it now, but it's going to trigger a lot of you in the comment section. So please leave now if you're easily triggered. Please go somewhere else if you're a little bit emotional, because this is going to upset you. I know it is. Okay? Bournemouth aren't that good. I mean it. Bournemouth are not that good. I'm looking at the league table now. Everton are not that good. Palace are not that good. Fulham are not that good. They're 12th in the league. Hear me out on this. Wolves are not that good. They're 11th in the league. They're a good quality team, but they're not amazing. But yet when they all play Man United, they look like world beaters. When they play Manchester United, they all come alive. And I knew some of you wouldn't allow me to get to my point before you reacted in the live comment section, but I mean this. Bournemouth play nice football. There's an excellent intensity about them. They've got some really technically gifted young football players. But the reason everybody looks so good against Man United is because of us. It's because of us. Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield United look better than us from a footballing perspective, a better shape in and out of possession. They move the ball with more fluidity. What these teams don't have, like Man United, is some good individual qualities who good in one-on-one defending, or Bruno today, I actually thought had a pretty good game. You know, scored 2 goals. Unlucky really not to get a hat-trick with a wonderful shot at the end of the first half. But we have a Bruno Fernandes that digs us out of a hole, or you'll have a Rasmus will dig us out of a hole, or Garnacho will have a good day and dig us out of a hole. But there is absolutely no team ethic at Manchester United at all. In attack, we are all over the place. We are greedy and poorly drilled. I see Rasmus Højlund getting hold of the ball and going into weird areas. What are you trying to do there? Rashford today, again, greedy. Going on the outside, should have cut the ball back for an easy tap in for Højlund, doesn't shoot and misses. Garnacho did cut it back for a goal when we equalized, but 2 or 3 other times just goes to cut inside and shoot, or go on the outside and shoot with his right foot. It's almost like we don't do attacking drills. And if we are, I have no idea what we're working on, because we look all at sea. We know about the midfield and how much it separates and how much space there is in behind. But defensively today, we're still making the same mistakes. For their second goal, the space in between Willie and Delo was ridiculous. Part of that is on Willie. There's an individual error there. He should have come a little bit closer. But you notice how the backline drops. As soon as people are attacking us, our backline drops. And we know it drops all the time. It's why cutback goals are so easy against us, because our defensive line drops back and midfield is never there. So then there's loads of players free on the edge of the box. But the spaces in between our players and in between our lines is criminal. That's on Man United again, and how poorly drilled we are as a team in and out of possession. I understand we need to improve individual player qualities at Manchester United. I don't disagree with that take at all. We need better technical football players, yes. But we need to be better drilled. And because I think we're poorly drilled, and because I don't think the training's very good, therefore there's a lack of intensity in how we play. Everybody, listen, Bournemouth are a good team. But they ain't that good. They're 12. But against us, they look sensational. And if you're a Man United fan, or you're a rival and you're objective, okay, what you see when Man United play is we're very rarely winning those second balls. We're always getting outrun. We're always being outmuscled. And it's because we lack intensity. We lack a huge amount of intensity when we play. And when there's a lack of intensity, it affects everything. It affects how hard you challenge. It affects your concentration. It impacts even how fast you can run. And when you don't have intensity, it's built into two things build that. Poor training and drills, and when you lack confidence or belief in what you're doing. And it's the same in any walk of life. If you've ever had, and I mean this with respect to the viewers, a lot of you are young, When you get older and you get a proper job, I'm not talking about a Saturday job or the first job when you leave school or college that you don't take seriously. I'm talking about your career. If you're not being trained correctly or you don't believe in what you're doing, you lack intensity within your role. If you lack intensity, you will never succeed to the optimum level. And this is where business, education, family, religion, and all sports are highly comparable to one another. This Man United team is so badly trained, coached, and put together. I'm at a stage where I'm not that angry with the players. I can't be. Doesn't mean they've all got to stay. Doesn't mean some of them they're all good enough for us. Stop being hyperbolic. Stop being polarized, and wake up and smell the goddamn coffee. There's a reason that Sheffield United, Burnley, Brentford, Bournemouth, Wolves, mind you, with a finite amount of players that you would even want in your squad, let alone in your first team, all play better football, all are more compact out of possession. And it's why when you watch us play, I would love to get your feedback on this right now live in the comments. I watch it and go, why do we look so slow? Why do we look so lethargic? And half the times, you know what it is? It's because of perspective. We are so open that our rivals take us on easy. They sprint past us easy because there's so much space. They defend more compact and it makes us look slower. Why can't we take anyone on? Because there's no space to. When you're attacking one of our centre-backs, there's 10 yards either side of him. So it's very easy for a quick, skillful player to drop a shoulder, do a shimmy and get past because there's nobody covering because there's too much space in between. We can't do it as easy. I'm watching it tonight and I'm just thinking to myself, how on God's green earth is anybody defending this manager? I don't want to hear, oh, injuries. It's injuries, Terry. Bullshit. Bullshit. Because teams with worse players than our fringe individuals are better in possession and better out of possession than we are. They look more unified. They're just not very good. We should look the same no matter who comes in. Then with better players, you produce more consistent performances. If Pep Guardiola took over Sheffield United, they would have an identity within weeks. They would improve slightly more than they are now because he's better than Wilder as a manager. To get into the level City are at, he'd need to spend loads of money and buy a really good squad. As per every good team pretty much ever spends money and builds a really good squad. But this Man United team is absolutely awful. And I'm not trying not to take nothing away from Bournemouth. Solanke was great tonight. Kluivert looked like his dad. But that's how bad we are. Justin Kluivert is a decent player. But he looked like his dad tonight. And he is not got as much talent. His dad's little finger is more talented at football than his son. And I don't even mean that horribly. I'm bigging up the legend that is Patrick Kluivert. But he looked like his dad. Bournemouth are a good side, as I say. But they ain't that good. This is Man United. We are shocking. Absolutely shocking. And you look at our last 6 games. Just looking at them now. Battered by City. We beat Everton, but they outclassed us, remember, for 90 minutes at Old Trafford. Drew with Brentford. They battered us. Lost to Chelsea, a bit more of an open game because they're as bad as we are, really. But we lost it in the end anyway. Lucky against Liverpool because they lost their way. And then today, how we got out of that is absolutely unbelievable. I'm so excited about the end of the season. I just can't wait for it to end. I can't wait for this rebuild to begin. And I know people think I have an agenda. Yeah, probably I do. My agenda is I want Man United to be better. And Erik ten Hag is not the man to do it. A lot of these players have got to go as well. I am not defending them entirely. We need better quality. But today was just an abomination from start to finish. Thank God, from a Man United perspective, thank God for the poor refereeing and thank God for Bruno Fernandes today. Because without those 2 individuals, United would have got absolutely humbled. Should have been out of sight, by the way, Bournemouth in the first half. Look, I'm going to go to your comments. I want to know what you think and feel, but I'm just not a loss. I know where we're at. I know what's going on. I think I'm more frustrated at seeing people defend this manager still and defend this unit. It's crazy. It looks like Ten Hag is trying to get the sack. We were playing like this at the beginning of the season. All that's happened is the players have become jaded and tired and more frustrated. You think Enzo's bad? My word, Casemiro is horrendous. Casemiro does look awful. I can't believe he lasted the whole 90 minutes. Enzo is poor, but Casemiro is done. He can't compare Enzo and Casemiro's club career. Like, that's crazy. But Casemiro is done, absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and defend him, though. Do I think he would look better if the system was good? Yes. But there are elements of Casemiro the way he passes and moves the ball, I'm looking at it being a him problem. The same energy as I have for Enzo Fernandez. The system lets Chelsea down, but individually on the ball, you've still got to look at these players. Thank God the refs don't know football. Refs moving mad. So many things to fix Man United. Step 1, sell 5 first-team players. 2, remove Ten Hag and get someone other than Potter or Southgate. I agree with you. I agree. We are the Red Sea, and Ten Hag is Moses. Bro, our midfield is like the parting of the sea. You're absolutely spot on. I actually gave that same example to KJ the other day. Gap in midfield is huge. Listen, it's so big. I said this before, I'll say it again. I'm surprised squatters haven't moved in, built a fence and claimed ownership. Genuinely, it is that bad. And anybody defending it, we need to have words. I need to understand why. Because I believe you're damaging the club. Really mean that. If you get your way, you're hurting the club. What are Man United playing for in the league now? Not European qualification. I want to be in Europe of some sort next year. I want to be in Europe of some sort next year. I've been saying it for ages. We have no idea how good or bad we'll be next season. We know big changes are coming. Imagine you're like, I don't care about being in Europe. The players agree with you. The manager agrees, and we come 10th. And next year we look really good. Wouldn't you like to be in a European competition to potentially add more trophies to our glittering cabinet? I personally would. If Pep took over United now, he would totally overhaul the starting lineup. The only Ten Hag signings in the lineup was Højlund, Casemiro, and Onana. Why this hypocrisy, Terry? We cannot infuse work ethic into these players. It's a good challenge, but where I'm going to come back on you is this. Why aren't his signings playing? Mason Mount's been back for weeks. Why is he on the bench? Amrabat, he chased all summer. Why is he on the bench? The likes of Rashford, Bruno, and Garnacho are his players. He brought Garnacho through. He gave Rashford a new deal. He made Bruno Fernandes captain. They are his players. And I agree with you. Pep would overhaul the squad to get it to a title-winning level. As I've said already, if you go back and listen to what I said, I am not claiming that we do not need a squad overhaul. I am not claiming that we don't need better quality players. But you would have the Pep structure in place within weeks, and you would see an identity. You'd be good. You'd be solid out of possession. You would have a really good shape, and you wouldn't be getting cut through game in, game out. We've conceded more shots so far this season than any other season in our club's history. We've conceded more goals this season than any other season in our Premier League history. That should tell you everything you need to know. And by the way, that's with $500 million invested into this manager. $500 million. Come on now. Wake up and smell the coffee, my friend. I appreciate the super chat, but this defending Ten Hag, he needs an overhaul. He's had half an overhaul. He's had 2 years of an overhaul. $500 million. $500 million this man has spent. 5 bars, bruv. When you get your right manager, we must overhaul the whole defense first. Well, no, you have to do it whilst having the right manager. You can't overhaul the squad, then bring your manager in. Has to all happen simultaneously. The slowest element, people go, but we've got to get rid of these players. Yes, but you can't get rid of the whole squad at once. My biggest hope for this season is positive, good. My biggest hope for the season, positive, good. Oh, positive goal difference. Yeah, I hope so. Well, I'd like us to get a little bit. Look, we're probably going to make the FA Cup final. God willing, we will. I'd like us to pick up a little bit of form before that. Try and win it. But imagine we get City in that final. Imagine we're good enough to beat Coventry, and then we get City in the final. We're not as good as we were last year. Can you imagine what they could do to us? Could be the worst day ever. As a Gooner, it hurts to see how United have fallen. I appreciate that. There's no... One of my mates used to say this weird thing to me, and I never really got it, and I do now. There is no yin without yang. And I feel like Man United, Arsenal in the Premier League era, it's like when people... I've been asked this question before, would you like Liverpool to go bust and go out of business? And my answer is no. There would be an initial, way, that's great, they're gone. But then I'd miss them. Because without Liverpool, Man United are not who they are. Without Arsenal, Man United are not who we are. Because our histories are intertwined. So there is an element of that's important when it comes to football. Look, I'm going to bring out Sky and I'm going to bring out Canadian Cam to have their say, because I am hungover to fuck today and I'm pissed off, annoyed At least the fucking UFCs, excuse my language, and I don't normally swear a lot on these streams. I apologize, but I'm in a mood today. At least the UFC's on later, and that is going to cheer me up. UFC 300, I cannot wait to sit down and actually watch a sport that delivers for me personally. There we go. Sky, Cam, welcome back to the show. Hope you're both well. Sky, I mean, we got a draw very fortuitously, but that was another horrendous showing today, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I'm just counting down to the end of the season at this point, and I just don't understand how anyone could still back this manager. It feels like, and you kind of touched on this, Terry, the more time our team has to think and train for a match, the worse we play, which makes no sense. And I really would like someone to have the opportunity to film, and I just want to see what's going on, because there's no excuse for us to come out and play as slow as we did. We looked awful. I could not believe what I was seeing from Garnacho. He lost the ball in that first goal and just stood and turned around. Kamwala had to scramble. He lost his footing, and then they score. And on top of it, Bournemouth still had double the amount of shots as us for the match. I'm trying not to get riled up, because there's no point. There's no point in investing any more emotion to this club, because it's so mediocre. It's embarrassing at this point to try to justify or make an excuse for what we're seeing. It's awful. And I really don't understand how someone can continue to back this. There's no excuse. And I'm on Ineos watch, because if this manager stays over the summer, everything they've done up to this point is a wash. It is.
I couldn't agree with you more. I know the media keeps saying, Sky, that they like him and he keeps talking it up. I cannot imagine Omar Barada, Ashworth, Wilcox, even Sir Jim himself. I just can't imagine them looking at these performances in the last 2 or 3 months. I remember saying to KJ, we spoke privately about this a few months ago, thinking to myself, sometimes you might be underperforming in your job. You get a new owner or a new MD comes in, and you buck your ideas up and you improve. You always see people that do that in general working environments. We've got worse. Certain players have got worse. The system has got worse. The performances, the results, it's all just falling apart. And the hope I have behind that, and this is hope because none of us know anything directly, is that that's because a lot of these players know they're going, the manager knows he's going, and big changes are coming. Because if there aren't big changes and we've got more of this to look forward to, I don't know how to process that in my head.
Yeah, and I mean, to see some people happy that we drew, where's your pride? We dropped points. We're in 7th place now because of our goal difference. There's nothing to celebrate here today. I don't understand what people's thought process is, but I agree with you. Yeah, big things have to be done moving forward, or next season's just going to be just as worse.
Could not agree with you more. Cam, what's your take on it, mate? We'll speak about the penalty in a moment, but in terms of the performance today from United, I said something that wound up a little bit of the audience earlier. I said Bournemouth are good, but they ain't that good. I feel like a lot of these games recently, it's Man United are losing as opposed to teams are beating us or outperforming us. We are just dreadful. I'd love to get your take on that.
It's wild because it's just like laxative. I went through that whole game in a lull. Right, like I fell asleep at one point, like for like 5 minutes, and woke up. I'm like, shit, like that never happens. And like you make a good point. Like we make everybody look good, but it's like we're playing in slow motion. It's like no one cares right now. You can almost like we all feel like we can't wait for the season to be done. The players feels the same way. It feels like no one cares. Like when you like, so everybody was jumping on Kamwala really quickly on that goal, and I'm sitting there going, I mean, Garnacho's touch was diabolical, and at that point, he got, I don't know anybody watched basketball, he got the AI crossover and got put down. That's just how it is. Like, if you played sports, you're backpedaling. Like, I played, like, American football. If you're out of sorts and somebody's got quick feet, you're probably going to get taken down like that. So I wasn't coming down on the kid for that. I think a lot of what's happening with our team, not just the discombobulation, is when you talk about the greed and it's just like the lack of accountability at this end. So, in the group chat, somebody asked the other day, what's your unpopular opinion about your team? And I said that I believe this team with Bruno and Rashford, those two can stay in the team and we could win something in the future. I still believe that based on talent. But the problem is, like what you said, when like Rashford's not cutting it back, but then he he's not going to get punished for that. Sorry, I got to find that. He's not going to get punished for that, right? He's not going to get sat for that. It's not going to be an issue. So he'll continue to do those things. You look at Garnacho not tracking back, but in the same game, I actually like to find positives. I was like praising Rashford for he lost the ball. So this is the thing, in the same game where he makes a mistake, he lost the ball, but then he tracked his dude all the way to the like other side of the pitch, ran with him the whole way. So I'm like, there's still like a player like Rashford, he's still a good player. I'll never not say he's a good player. But when you look at him in this team, that's my opinion. You look at him in this team, you look at Bruno, you look at that shot Bruno took where you're like the quality of a lot of our players is good. And you're just watching Bournemouth, you're watching like, how do you allow 14 shots on target, like not on target, 14 shots from Bournemouth? You can't. Like, I feel so bad for Onana. I'm gonna say this right now. I feel terrible for this dude. Like, you can, when you're facing that many shots, you look at, as you called out, that the gap in space, or people like, how do you get beat by your near post? I'm like, I don't know, because your keeper is sitting there thinking one of these defenders is going to engage. Someone's going to do something. I'm not going to have to come all the way across my net to save a near, like, I'll be okay. Nope, not with us. So I don't know. I'm in the space of we need to get rid of Eric Ten Hag. We know that. I don't agree with you on, I don't want any European football. I don't. That's me. That's just where I'm at. I think I want us to go the Chelsea route, that one year where they were terrible. You have 1 week, one game a week. Whoever the new manager is that comes in has a lot of time with you. You're not thrown into the big lights, because none of these players seem to be like, they don't have the mentality right now. They don't have the balls to handle European football. So if you're going to put them in there, and it's just going to be any sort of momentum we might get in the league next year or any of the cup tournaments, you're going to go into Europe and you're going to get smoked. And it's just going to kill the mentality even more. That's just where I'm at. I get it. I hear you. The heritage of watching your team in those tournaments, that's what you want. But I don't think it'll serve us anything positive if we're in European competitions, because those teams will eat us alive.
I do. Listen, I understand that logic. As I say, I think that depends on. I'm a bit like Sky. I am on Ineos watch. I'm watching what they're doing. I'm not showing my ass and panicking over things straight away. I want to see what actually happens before I judge them. But if they do bring in the right manager and they clear out a lot of the crap and a lot of what they're talking about sounds good, there could be a massive. I mean, if you just drilled this team now, if we were well drilled in and out of possession, we'd be in the top four.
But a massive improvement for us right now would be top four. Like, you know, which is crazy.
But this is the point I'm making. If we were just well drilled in and out of possession, which you should be, we'd be in the top four and we would have got through our group stage in the Champions League. So we're not a million miles away from being a decent team at the elite level. We're nowhere near being ready to win a Premier League title, but we're not far away from being a decent team. We just need to be well drilled. 6 months of last season, we were a really well drilled team. And look what we did. You know, we won a trophy. We got through to the latter stages of the Europa League. We progressed from being really low down in the league to being right up there in third place. That's what you're capable when you're well drilled and the system is working and everybody's bought into it. But I do understand as well, maybe having one game a week, drilling that new system into people, whatever it is, will also stand in good stead. There's a super chat here I want to go to that just says, Terry, how can a terrible manager win 4 back-to-back titles and lead his side to the Champions League semis, beating Real Madrid? He needs good players. Maguire, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Delo, Rashford, Lindelof, Casemiro are not at that level. Well, look, it's again, I don't think Ten Hag is a bad manager. I've said it on other shows before. I think he will leave and he could still potentially have a very fruitful and successful career. But I like cheese sandwiches and I like a jam sandwich, or jelly if you watch from the States. But I wouldn't like cheese and jam together in the same sandwich. Sometimes two people are just not a good mix. And when you mention those players that are in the team, Maguire's only starting because all the other centre-backs are injured. So people say, I can't believe Maguire's playing. I thought the manager didn't want him. If Varane and Lissandro were fit, he wouldn't be playing.
Even Evans.
Yeah, Delo is someone that he has developed and wanted to keep. Rashford, he gave a new deal to. Lindelof, fair enough, but he barely plays anyway. And Casemiro was his purchase. So we were all shocked at the players this manager. He spent £60 million on Mason Mount and doesn't play him. He spent the whole summer chasing Amrabat and doesn't play him. He went and bought a goalkeeper who's one of the best in the world at playing out from the back, but we're not well drilled as a team to play out from the back. So I can't defend the manager just based on his CV. He isn't doing a good enough job, my friend. And I get the argument about if we had all our players back, yes, but we should still have a good system in and out of possession. And what Cam was saying, where he feels sorry, I felt sorry for Willie today. I thought he got cooked for that first goal. Look, yes, people are going to say slipped. I'm keeping the same energy for Mickey van der Ven. He slipped because Solanke did him. It's as simple as that. We've all played football. That's what happens. But I feel sorry for him putting a young kid in a role where it's such a bad defensive line anyway. It's so difficult for him to do well in it. And it's like the same with Mainu. We have good moments from him, but because we're a bad drilled team, he's going to look worse. You stick him in a better side. So look, I think we need to do a lot about it. Dizzy's with us. What are you saying, Diz?
Yo, bro, you know what it is? It's so bad at United. I don't even want to talk about it. Like, I just want to pretend that the games didn't happen. I want to move on with my weekend. It's all just a bit trash. Like, all right, well, we lost, we drew. All right, cool. Let's move on. Nothing happened. Nothing to see here. You know what it is? And you know, I've been saying that the manager needs to go for a long time, but I think the thing that gets exhausting for me with the people that are staunch Ten Hag fans is not that they believe that he can turn it around. It's the cognitive dissonance in what they're saying. So they're saying Ten Hag wants to be open and expansive. He likes these big gaps in his midfield. That's what we saw at Ajax. And then out the other side of their mouth, they'll also say, what do you expect him to do with all these injuries? Well, if you would connect what your two thoughts are, even if we had all our starting players, we would still have these massive gaps in our midfield because this is how he likes to play. It doesn't make any sense to me, bro. But and then like I see it every game, and I don't think it's gonna change. And I don't see how we improve playing the way that we're trying to play, because I just don't think that it fits the Premier League, which is why for me it all gets a bit jarring to keep going around in circles about this Ten Hag fella and what's wrong at United and how we're trash and all that stuff. It all gets a bit long for me. So yeah, this game was trash. The last games we played was trash. We have a -2 goal difference. There's 6 games left. There ain't really too much going on.
And it's Coventry. Listen, it could get bad. We play Coventry next, and we should win. But I would not be shocked if they knock us out the FA Cup semi-final next week. I would not go, oh my God, I never saw that coming in a million years.
No, not at all. To be honest, I think it's funny because I don't remember. I don't know who said it. Somebody in the group chat was like, "Oh well, at least all we have to pray for is the FA Cup." I'm like, I mean, yeah, we may or may not beat Coventry. Let's not go too far. I say we probably beat Coventry, right? Whoever we come up against after that, it's all looking a bit long. You know what I mean? If it's Chelsea again, then maybe not.
Maybe. Y'all get excited for Chelsea.
In fairness, I wouldn't mind the Chelsea final. If I take myself out as a Man United fan, that would be jokes. It would just be 2 teams with no midfield attacking each other. It would be entertaining. And whoever scores the most goals, I needed to say, so shit, of course, whoever scores the most goals win. But that's all it's going to be based on is both teams trying to score the most amount of goals, no defending, no real tactics. It's just going to be an all-out, like it'll be playground football. That's what it'll be.
But then the other side of that coin is if we get Man City and they're on the road to another treble, it'll be back-to-back seasons. We did absolutely nothing to stop them because we're not winning that game.
No, yeah, we definitely can't beat them. And I agree with what you said about the Ten Hag thing. I'm not even trying to like shit on him. I'm just speaking the truth. None of it makes sense. We've also seen the team this year early on in the season with the vast majority of our team fit, and we had the same problems. So I remember what a lot of people saying, when we get Mainu into the team, because how good he is on the ball, you'll see a difference in us. You don't. We're not well drilled as a team in possession. It's absolutely horrendous. It really is. This year says when you get the right manager first. Yes, that's one of the first steps we need. As a red, doesn't bother me. United are crap. You'll never walk alone. No, I kind of get you. I kind of get where you're coming from. But like I've always said, I'd love to have a few years of title races and go head to head where Liverpool and United are the best 2 teams in England. It's never been done before. It'd be amazing. It really, really would. Last 5 games, United have allowed 23, 31, 28, 28, and 20 shots. That's 130 shots. Ten Hag should be sacked for that alone. I think we're nearly 100 above the most we've ever conceded in a season, and there's still 6-7 games to go.
Lord
So
have mercy.
we're probably going to hit somewhere close to 700 to 750 goals, shots conceded. I think the most up until this season for a whole season was like 530. You're talking potentially 200 more shots being conceded in a season. It's absolutely horrendous. Imagine Ten Hag managing Bournemouth be relegated. Again, it's just crazy to watch. I really think Coventry could be a problem. They definitely could be. Terry, do you think we should go for Smith Rowe, Gallagher, Tierney? No. I think that's meant to be a joke, but of course not. Unfortunately, wouldn't be surprised if Ten Hag stays. I genuinely would. I genuinely would. I spoke to a lot of journalists who won't publish these stories, which is weird because, of course, they've got to keep on side with the club. But what they're all saying to me when I DM them and I text some of them whose numbers I've got is all they're really hearing is dead man walking. So I think he'll be gone. But Sancho does not train well. Joke Ten Hag out. But again, this is where the pettiness doesn't need to be. Just because Ten Hag's doing a bad job and he's going to go, it doesn't suddenly mean that Sancho's performances should be forgotten about. The same as I'm not forgetting how bad Rashford's been this season. I'm not forgetting about how poor a football player Scott McTominay is, and we need better. Like all these things exist at once. Would I like Sancho to come back and kill it? Yes. But I just think Man United fans have got to get away from this tit-for-tat mentality when it comes to our football club. I really do.
But you know what it is, really quickly, what the previous guy was saying. The problem with what Ten Hag has done is, like I said it at the time, you do these banishments and that kind of thing. It's a high risk, high reward strategy. You can banish somebody, but you have to win the games that follow. You have to set the stall out that we don't tolerate anything other than this level. And if you drop to this level, you're liable to get shipped out of here. And if the whole team stay at this level after you shipped out the poison, then maybe the guy that you shipped out weren't the poison at all.
No, but, yeah, I mean, it can be that, Dizzy. It could also be that they are, but you still haven't handled it well. And this is the problem. I think with Man United, the word I use to describe us as a fan base, generally speaking, there's so many reductionists that look at it all as, well, Sancho's a bad egg. We get rid of him, we're going to be amazing. Sell Pogba, we're going to be amazing. Sell like the people that think just getting rid of Rashford makes us a better team. That's all we have to change. You're all wrong. It's so much. There's so many more layers to it. It's so much more complicated than people make it out to be. And even though I think Ten Hag's got to go, where I don't sit with the Ten Hag outers, because Ten Hag outers can be as dim sometimes as the Ten Hag inners, where they think just sacking the manager means we're going to be better. There's so many layers to it. It's unbelievable. It really is. Ola here says, I recall Terry gassing Onana would be the third best goalkeeper in the league. Yeah, listen, I did think that. I did think that Haaland would score 15 goals in all competitions this year. And I did think that we would have more points this season than last year. What I didn't legislate, and you didn't challenge me with this either, nobody said, well, this season you're playing with no midfield. Nobody said this season your defensive line is going to drop so deep and your midfield not come back, that there's free shots at the edge of your box that you're giving away. Nobody told me that we were going to stop playing the brand of football that we were last year and go to a completely new style. If I knew all those things before I said that, I wouldn't have said it. So yes, I was wrong.
That comment's ridiculous because Onana's been good. Like at the end of the day, he had a bad. Like I hate to say, he's
been good in the league, not in the Champions League. Though.
Yeah, he's been good in the league. I thrashed him at the start of the year because like he was making mistakes. Obviously, new to the league, he had to deal with the pressure and all that stuff, right? But honestly, if you look at the last 10, 15 games, he's been good. He's kept us in games. That save against Kluivert was ridiculous. Like he's been just fine. It's not a.
And equally with Højlund, like I thought he was really poor holding the ball up today. I was really disappointed with him. Awful. But another game. What chance did we create for him? Like what? Like I swear it's been the last 5 games. We have not set him up with a single big chance. He must be the only striker in the league in the last 5 games that his team haven't created him even half a chance, really.
Our wingers don't cross the ball, fam.
So it becomes one of those things. Again, if you said to me that we're just going to go game after game, not creating him chances. I read a stat that Opta put out that out of all the strikers in the Premier League, he's had the least amount of chances created for him in the league. So again, no one would have predicted that at the start of the season. So yeah, look, I hold the L, but it just is what it is. 1610s here. He says the amount of injuries Ten Hag has had to deal with this season, the fact that he's only 20 points off the top is impressive. Give him time. Big up Sky. Do you know what I'd say? There's an element, I get where you're coming from. The level of performances and how bad we are in and out of possession. If that was good, but we just lacked the quality to finish games off, but we were playing nice football, we were hard to break down, hard to play against, I think all of us sitting on here would have a very different perspective. It's the performances that are bad. D-Town here says, to be fair to Onana, he's had to face more shots than most goalkeepers in the league. Man's fighting for his life. Look, he has been good in the league. Champions League's a different conversation, but he has been good in the league. Sophia's joining us as well. How are you, Sophia?
I'm fine. You guys are well as well. I mean, what else is there really much to say about this game that we haven't already addressed? I mean, like you, Terry, I think you mentioned a few months back that you were kind of done with Ten Hag after we last played Bournemouth, and I felt the same way when we got slapped up at OT that time. That's several months since then, back in December, and not much has changed. Other than, of course, I don't know, we're just a new board coming in and all that. Hopefully, things can get better next season, but we have to wait and see. There are a couple of players that I definitely feel like I've given up on, and I think I realized, especially with Casemiro, I think time is up right now. I think we gotta cash in. I'm tired.
He looks. I can't believe he stayed on the whole game. I kind of get why like Mainu comes off because he's young and you don't want to overplay a young player. But how Casemiro stayed on, you look as confused as I was.
Literally, very confused. And also with Rashford, I feel like this. I mean, he's not a kid anymore. 27 years old or about to be 27, regardless. Not a kid no more, and it just feels like he's completely lost the spark that he used to have, which is sad. When he first broke into the scene, about over 8 years ago now, I don't know where that guy is anymore. And I think at some point, we have to say goodbye. Thank you for your service, but you got to go as well. Whether or not he goes is another conversation for another day. But I think we got to, because I'm also very officially tired with him as well. Legit.
Scott, what do you make of that? Would you get rid of Marcus Rashford in the summer? Do you think he's a player that the club should sacrifice, cash in on, and change up?
I would drive him to the airport. That's just my 2 cents on that.
And I'll take him to the plane. We'll switch.
I'll be
again,
here when he comes good. I'll be here.
Yeah, I've been hearing rumors that PSG wants him, and I would gladly, hand him off for the money. And it's not. I don't want it to sound disrespectful because it probably did, because he has done a lot for this club, But when I'm seeing him, and it's just, people always bring up the excuse of he scored so many goals last year. Okay, that's great, but where's the consistency in that? Okay, it's like a purple patch season. I'm looking at him this year and I'm like, are you even there? What's going on? And then he has to come out and do a press statement saying, don't question my commitment. What have you done since you said that? Exactly. I have seen nothing from you for me to even try to back you up with that statement. So for me, respectfully, thank you. Like Sophia said, thank you for your service, but it's time to go. And I just feel like we need different veterans in here that can establish pride, establish hard work, establish something that we don't have. I'm seeing Bruno on the pitch. Granted, we needed him today, but I can't stand the whining. That's just me personally. I'm not that type of person. I don't like the leadership that we have currently, and that's something that we definitely need to fix as well if we're gonna get better.
And really quickly, the funny thing is, Terry, remember when Ten Hag first came in, I think me, you, and Leas were saying that, there's going to have to be some sacrificial lambs. There's going to have to be some really big names, big characters that get dashed out of this team, because if you want to play a certain way, some of these men just don't gel well together. So you're gonna have to get rid of or sacrifice one to say, okay, we're going in this direction. And I feel like Ten Hag, the Glazers, the old board, I feel like they as Leas would say, they cheated the process a little bit. They tried to look like they were making the big decisions when not really. Getting rid of Cristiano Ronaldo wasn't really a big decision. He sat down with Piers Morgan, for God's sake. Getting rid of Sancho was not really a big decision. You know what I mean? When it was time to make the big decision with Harry Maguire, they whiffed it. McTominay, they whiffed it. Rashford, they gave him an extra contract. Bruno Fernandes, now he's the captain. So now it's looking like Ollie 2.0 with people with bigger contracts.
I get it. And do you know what it is? Go on, Cam. I want to get your temp.
The thing is about Rashford is that he's always good in seasons when there's some consistency and everything's he needs an environment that is solid. It's you've noticed it in the seasons because you can't say he had one purple patch season. He's had multiple purple patch seasons. He had multiple seasons with 15 plus goals. He's had multiple seasons where he's looked like our best player or our future. He's also had multiple seasons where we're like, where is that guy? But you have to look at the seasons when he's been bad. It's everything around him's been bad. He's not one of those people. I don't think he's ever claimed to be. He doesn't want to be. He's not the captain of the team. He's not the guy who's going to be the vocal leader. That's not him. And I don't think Rashford's ever actually claimed to be that. So when I look at him, I think whenever we're shit, he's shit with us because he needs that environment. And United have not had a stable environment for multiple years in a row. For how long? We're talking years now. We're going over about a decade where we have not had 2 seasons back to back where we could go, nice, there's some consistency. We're making the right moves. Jose kills it, then we spend no money. Ollie has a decent season, then same shit. We don't make the right moves. We keep him on. This is it. When we're up, he's up. When we're not, and I get it. Some people say, well, we want a player to carry us in that situation. You can't have 10 captains on the pitch. I know you can have multiple. Rashford's not one of them. And that's just for me. I think his talent is undeniable, regardless of when he does dumb shit. Sometimes his talent is undeniable. He is a good footballer. When we go down left wingers, just on talent, not based on his performance, just on talent alone, go through the list of what left wingers. You're not going to find a lot that you would say I'd rather over Rashford. You're not. And I'll challenge anybody to do it. Go ahead, name me a bunch of left wingers, and I'll tell you their flaws too. People like Rafael Leao. Have you watched them this year? Not great, right? There's lots of players. The Donna that everybody was like, oh, from Napoli, I'll take him. Cool, where's he at? Right? Hit me with a player that you would say right now that we could get that you're 100% better than Rashford.
Well,
okay, but he's not a captain, but he's making the most money on the team. And if you think Man United, who's the first player you're going to name? I get he's not the captain, but that's the face of our club. I need better.
She's right.
And I actually don't consider him the face of the club. I consider Bruno the face of our club.
That's who? I don't think so.
That's the captain's armband. Says the dude who.
It could be both, but it's probably Rashford.
But to add, but on top of what Sky's saying, at the same time, you might not be the captain or the face of the club. It doesn't really matter which one. But your decision making is so terrible that you're inconsistent as hell. So we don't know what we're getting from you year to year, game to game, month to month. We just have to hope for the best. You're supposed to be, if you're not the face at the moment, you should be moving to be the face of the team. You should be looking for that captain's armband, simply because you should understand what it's about, coming from where you're coming from the age of 7 or whatever the case may be. But we're not getting it. And every game, I see him do the same thing and not learning from his mistakes. If it was a case of at least I can see him trying something else, but it's not coming off, or he's right there and he's just lacking confidence, then okay, fair enough. But the head down, I'm gonna try and run through 3 people and then throw my arms up when it doesn't work, bro. I'm tired of it, bro. And I think the problem that, obviously, Cam, I love you. You're an optimistic guy, so I'm not. It's not a shot at you. But the problem with Ten Hag defenders, with Rashford defenders, with Bruno defenders, is they always use the argument of, oh, well, who else can we get that's out there, that's available, that will be better. You can't not try to do better because you're not sure if what's out there is going to be better. You have to try something different. If you keep doing the same thing and it's not working and you're seeing that it's not getting better, you have to try. even if it's somebody that's not at the right quality to be better, maybe they have the right profile that will complement the other players in the team, so we can be better as a unit, maybe. But yeah,
I hear
don't
that.
know.
You can do that, but you can do that and keep Rashford in the team. That's the thing. That's the thing. Like that's what I've been trying. Like you can do that. You don't have to sell. You can do that. You can provide. Remember when it was Martial versus Rashford on that left-hand side and it was proper competition? You can do that. You could have players pit against each other knowing that, hey, I'm actually going to be dropped. What I said earlier was when Rashford makes that mistake, Ten Hag should be like, cool, you're not playing next game. Like that's what should happen. And then that's how you teach a player, because he's doing the same things over and over, because guess what? He's going to play. And at the end of the day, like I get it. I hear what you're saying. I hate the blind alley stuff. I hate the run it out, but that he's also got a lot of success from that before. So in his mind, he's like, well, I'm going to do what made me good before. But you don't have a coach saying, hey, guess what, dude? It's time to change it up. And if you don't switch it up, you're sitting. That to me is what kills me, because I sit there and I'm like, all it takes, like you look at you guys watch the Euros. I love I was all on England. I thought they were going to win everything. You look at what made Rashford good at the Euros. He wasn't starting. He had to come in and he had to earn it. He had to do the right things. I bet you see something similar this year. It's like it's coaching at this point. Like, and I understand what you guys are saying. He should want more. He should be pushing for all that. But at the end of the day, coaching is so important in all sports. And if you do not coach players who have talent properly, they will fade to black. Plain and simple. They will continue to make the same mistakes. If you're not nurturing what they're actually good at, and we've seen what he's actually good at. Like, we can't sit here and say Rashford's not good at anything. We've seen it. He can play. He's got a shot on him. He's still rapid. Even though he's 27 now, he hasn't lost any of his pace. So at the end of the day, a good coach says, Rashford, you should have squared it to Højlund. You're sitting. Done. Next time you do it, cool again.
Act like he's too young. Like these.
It's coaching. It's the same with. Okay, so you're going to say all the defenders who leave all that space. The coach is saying leave all that space. You're going to tell them, well, basically now you're saying a whole team has to just go against the manager. Rashford, one thing I will say, has never, ever gone against the manager. He's always been one of the teacher's pets. That's who he is. He's always been like, whatever you tell me to do, Gaffer, I'll fucking do it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. It's definitely on. I think it's on them. I think that's what makes these conversations difficult, because I think it's all fallen apart so bad that it's hard. It's very hard to distinguish what's the manager and what's the players, because it's all kind of blended into one. It's all a bit toxic. It's all a bit negative. Has any of you guys worked at a place where you're like, yeah, this company going bust in 3 months, bro? I'm not really here for it. I'm gonna show up, do the bare minimum, but ain't no bonuses coming my way. So what's the point?
Yeah.
Of even
So,
trying?
on the Rashford stuff, look, everyone knows I've got a soft spot for Rashford. I like him. I like when he's on it. I like how he plays. But I am not adverse to anybody going. I don't actually, barring Mainu, Højlund, maybe Garnacho, because I don't think they've been damaged by the club and they're still young. I'm open to anybody going. Genuinely, don't care.
See?
Depending on who the manager is and what the system and style of play is going to be. All four of you might want Bruno to stay. But if the style of football that we're going to play in this new world doesn't suit him, he's got to go. So for me, it's more about how we're going to play and which players are suited to that, as opposed to my feelings about the individual. So I'm really open to it. We need open heart surgery, as Ragnick said a couple of years ago, and I think we need to sort of stick to that. And there'll be casualties, and we move on from it. And I don't think that it may not even be replacing him with someone that has a profile that's as big as Rashford. It may be about signing players that are not on that level. But when I look today, I wouldn't sign Justin Kluivert. But look how good he looked in a well-drilled system. He ain't that good, though.
He made him look like his father.
Yeah, no, we did today. And that's the thing for me. It's just we need people with the right mentality, the right attitude, because we may not even be back to being in the top four next year, even if the football looks better. It's going to take us time. And sometimes you've got to go, backwards before you can go forward. And what's the other, you got to cut a part of yourself off the grow. I feel like all of these sayings actually hold a lot of water in the United conversation. This year says Emil Smith Rowe would be the best footballer at your club. Stop. I would keep Ten Hag and give another manager these players. But again, bro, you're not giving another manager these players. You're going to be getting rid of a fair chunk in the summer and buying more. and then if the following summer more leave, and you buy more, you can't just keep Ten Hag and keep playing this way. Because then by the time you build a really good squad, they're not going to be drilled in the system that's going to work. Because I don't care what Ten Hag's done elsewhere. The way he's making us play is not going to yield results in the Premier League. Having no midfield does not work for anyone in the Premier League. Find me a team that's won it that doesn't have a midfield. And when I say doesn't have a midfield, I mean no one stays in midfield. It doesn't work, my friend. I'm really sorry. I'm not trying to be rude. You see Bruno's face looks like a ripped bag. Yeah, I'm not really worried about the looks of my football players. It's not why I watch football, to see who's good looking and who's not. Because if footballing ability and your individual success was based on your looks, Jack Grealish would be Maradona, wouldn't he? But he isn't. He's more like Luke Chadwick. The irony in that comment, Wing man like Dio's here. He says wingers in form over Rashford, Nico Williams, Kingsley Coman. I can't pronounce that other name. But yes, him. Cavadonna.
Those last two are not having great seasons.
Rafael Leao, and the list goes on. Yeah, look, again, there are people, there are loads of wingers. I mean, there's about 3 wingers at Man United in better form than him. Ahmad came on and looked better. I did want to, Rashford is 27. What more coaching does he need? Now, I will say this, where I will defend Rashford is that he has also suffered at the hands of our club not having a proper system and a manager that's been successful in the time that he's been here. But that's also why you might have to look beyond him now, because I think there's an element of him being scarred by that. If he'd have come through 18 years of age under Pep, he'd be a much better football player, in my opinion, than he is now. And that's what, I worry about Manu in there. By the way, the Chelsea fans in the group chat, guys, are going on a mad one. They're messaging me saying, look at Manu's performance today. Wasn't that great? And you call out Enzo. Well, 1, Enzo's 23, not 18. 2, Enzo's played nearly 200 games in his career already. He's not a kid. People talk about Enzo like he's 18. He's 23. He also cost you 105 million, and I expect him to deliver, respective to his role, how Palmer's delivering for you. You should still see lots of moments in games of individual brilliance from him, and I don't think you've seen enough of it. I haven't said that Manu isn't going to be inconsistent, but he's 18. Of course he's going to be inconsistent. But Enzo Fernandez isn't young. He's not old, but he ain't young either. I swear again, if I'm wrong that he's 23, I swear he's 23 years old. I need to check now because I've said it and I don't want to be wrong. Yeah, he's 23, just turned 23 to be fair, but that's not, like, he ain't eligible anymore for Young Player of the Year. You know what I mean? Like, once you get to 23, and also 200 games, and I think 25 appearances or so for his country. Like, that's not, I don't know what Chelsea fans are on today. They're on, I suppose it's all just about, can we make someone look more muddied than we are? It's crazy. It's funny. Penalty wise, anybody think it was a penalty?
No.
Which one?
Which one?
A penalty.
The one that we got.
I thought you meant the other one that wasn't ruled out. I
mean, it was a foul. It was no different to Manuel Neuer's the other night. It was a foul. The fact that people were telling me the other day, if you plant your feet, it's not a foul. I don't know where this bullshit came from. No, if you get in someone's way, yeah, no. I mean, their one was. I mean, we did get lucky with that penalty. I felt.
It wasn't a hand. Like, I get the fact that the ball was going to Rashford, and if it didn't touch an arm, it would have got there. I get that, but my understanding of the rules always been like it has to be in. Like, I think with the change of the rule, the old rule was like stonewalled. Now it's like intentional. So I think when he moved his arm out and I think his back was turned and he just turned and his arms there. You don't even know who has the ball at that point. It's put it this way, by the letter of the law, sure. But would I have been upset if it wasn't given? No, wouldn't have cared. I'd have been like, yeah, fair. I don't think so. I think by the letter of the law, because the ball was on its way to Rashford, you say, cool, pen. We got lucky there, but to be fair, on the strength of it for the whole season, how many of bad, like, we've had a lot not go our way this year. So
no,
like,
I agree. I agree with that. Like, but people are. The thing is, I've said that Bournemouth are robbed, but people are doing the most with this, right? So the Chelsea fan who follows us called Carlito, that's literally quote tweeted my tweet, and I want to read out what he said because for me, this is maybe the most.
Is this the guy who said coaching doesn't matter?
The guy who said coaching doesn't matter. He said here, Terry does a good job, but my lord, did the game of football lose something today? I'm seething. The issue I have with people being angry about our decision is that when Crystal Palace got an offside goal against us, as an example, Where was their energy about football being damaged that day? And that's my problem with most people when it comes to bad refereeing decisions. They only call it out if a team they hate benefits or their team gets hurt by it. And honestly,
I think the bigger issue is the referees, not really what team it happens to. Personally, I think that's what needs to be looked at. That's the issue with me. I'm tired of the refs deciding so many games. There's so many games this year where it comes down to a call. That's the issue to me.
No, I agree. It's the referees have to be called out even when you benefit. But like the Chelsea fans, it's not all Chelsea fans, these particular ones. If they get a dodgy decision on Monday, I bet they don't say the game of football lost something today. They'll sit there and smile. And I know it's hard, but that's the attitude that keeps football keeps things broken. Now, it isn't brown envelopes because again, I've had the same energy for every team this year. I don't think anyone's paying referees because then none of us would be damaged by decisions, would we? You know, it's. People say, oh, United pay refs. Then why have we had bad things go against us? It doesn't make sense. Come on now. Let's be sensible when we speak about this stuff. Hamza, just go on there. I don't know. Where is Hamza? Is he in the comments section? Big up, Hamza, if you're watching, bruv. Terry, stop being delusional because Pep would not even promote an average quality player like Rashford. So this is the problem with this kind of comment. Have you heard what he has said about Marcus Rashford? And this is why I don't think Rashford should go because overall I think he's a bad footballer. I think it's more about the timing, the situation, the relationship.
Yeah.
Look at the clubs that want him. And football debates are football debates, and it's all subjectivity. But you do get your answers. I have... who's been here a long time on the terrace? Cam has. Cam's been here the longest. How many times have I debated people and said Wilfried Zaha's not as good as people say he is? When people say he's a top-class to world-class...
Yeah, I still remember when you went off in that day. He put a brace.
He scored against us. And he scored against us, and he's a good player, but I always said he's not elite like people made out.
Yeah.
Now, forget your subjectivity. I was right, because he went from Palace to Galatasaray.
Yeah.
No big club came in for him. Now, with Rashford, I think he's trash. I think he's good, but he definitely, we can all agree that he's failing at Man United. The fact that it's the Barcelonas and the PSGs that want him tells you there's a very good football player in there. Who comes in to buy you is such a barometer for the talent that you have with inside. Like the Chelsea fans go, Gallagher's a baller. Spurs want him. That's it. Like if he was a baller like you're making out, now if you're going to sell Reece James, I guarantee you big clubs come in for him. Even with the injury record, big clubs will say, we'll take a punt on that because the ability is there. So when you say like Pep wouldn't promote him, Pep would sign Rashford at Manchester City tomorrow. Man City couldn't get him off Man United, but Pep would have him. Pep spoke glowingly of him before when he doesn't need to. And he would say if Bruno Fernandes was put up the South tomorrow, multiple big teams come in for him. So your personal feelings are irrelevant. Big teams would want to buy him.
But it's also a montage of players too. Like I can't remember, somebody did a supercut the other day. It was like all the players who have gone up against him as well, right? Like this is like I agree with everybody on the timing and what he's doing here, but that's my hard part of letting him go. Is like you hear about players talk about him and they're like he's a menace. Like players don't like looking up and saying like defenders don't like looking up and be like, oh, Rashford's running at me. That's fine. Like Kate, they're not like, oh, this is an easy. They know they're in for it on the day when they're facing him. Whether or not I get everybody's points here. Is he going to do the right thing when he beats a man? Probably not. Is he going to shoot or pass the right thing? It's like those are his problems. But as a footballer and talent wise, he's got it. He just hasn't been able to put it together.
Yeah. And by the way, just people saying that Pep wouldn't want him. Pep went on record a couple of years ago and said the only player he'd signed for Man United is Marcus Rashford. So I'm not. Again, he doesn't need to say that, but he was asked a question and he answered it. Not about Rashford specifically. He was asked about what players he'd like to take from Man United, and he singled out Rashford. So that's why, again, and that doesn't mean your preferences have to like him. It's like with music, just because the Beatles sold a lot of records. I don't necessarily like their music too much, but I respect that it's still good music to a lot of people, right? So I think with Marcus Rashford, people's personal preference is irrelevant. What we can all agree on is he ain't delivering for Man United, and the club this summer needs to make a decision as to whether or not they move him on or keep him for the betterment of the team. And it's always got to be about the betterment of the football club and the betterment of the team, as opposed to, but I want my favorite player to stay. That sort of stuff, fans have just got to drop him in my personal opinion. I want to thank everybody that's come on today. Don't criticize Enzo, you'll get called a waffler. That's what they're all saying in the group chat. They're asking me to explain myself. I'm like, firstly, this is my group chat, boys. Secondly, just go watch if you want to know what I think of him, just go watch the last match reaction. Terry, stop it. Rashford's PR team is making his brand big again, but his PR team didn't pay Pep Guardiola. His PR team are not making the likes of PSG and Barca try to sign him. So as much as he has a good PR team, I keep saying this to people that go, the Premier League's not the best league or the most entertaining. It's just got the best PR. You can't polish a turd, bruv. You can't. You ever seen a crap movie? You could give it the most amount of advertising in the world. If there's a crap movie, people don't watch it because the first group of people go in to watch it and go online and go, that's shit. And then nobody else fucking watches it. It's as simple as that. So with Rashford,
Marvel.
There's no way PSG is sitting there or Barcelona is sitting there and going, you know what? Again, that Rashford's PR is really good. It must make him a good player. Come on now. Let's engage our brains here. If Zaha had the same PR as Rashford, he'd be on PSG. See, oh my God, I didn't even read the rest of it. You think this is what I mean. Yes, he has PR to make him look good in the public eye, but that doesn't make professionals go, he must be good at the game.
The owner said straight up, this was crazy. This is basically tampering in any other sport. He goes, if Rashford was available tomorrow, I would be at the front of the line to sign him. Like, you don't pay the guys being interviewed. Like, I work in marketing. You don't pay this dude to say that. He put that out there because he wants Rashford to know, hey man, you got a home here. If that was before he signed a contract, because he was like, I know we're not going to be able to pay for him. So if he becomes available on a free, we want to be the first team to have a chance at him.
You know what? I think
Uncle Jester says not true to explain the Barbie movie. Now, again, I did watch the Barbie movie because my daughter wanted to watch it. Not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. But most women I've spoken to liked it. My daughter and all of her friends at school adored it. So for what it was a very good movie. What you're doing there, Uncle Jester, is you're doing a preference. Your preference was not to like it. Again, I'm not a big fan of Luciano Pavarotti. That doesn't mean he wasn't the greatest opera singer of all time. You've got to take your subjective personal feelings away and look at it realistically. Like, I'm not. That's just what I'm saying. And you cannot market shit, and you can market crap, but you can't make the masses love it. You can market Rashford as much as you want, but if he really was as bad as you say, the top clubs in the world wouldn't be looking at him.
Yep.
That for me is it doesn't debunk how you feel. It just debunks the level you think Rashford's at. You know, if Rashford is bad, some people go, he's a championship player. That was true. No one at top level would buy him. Nobody would be willing to buy him. So you're going too far. And Zaha's not better than Rashford.
And you know what it is?
He isn't. He just
you
isn't.
know what it is rival fans want to poke at United. That's what it is. They're going to do that. But then I think there's also a section of United fans that are so tired of everything United, they pick out the big player and we want him gone. But then as soon as he's gone, let's say he goes to PSG next season, he scores 15, 20, 25 goals. They're like, oh, we just let Mbappe go. What happened? They do with literally every player that leaves United. It's like, why did we let him go? But when he was here, he ain't getting no love at all. So.
I hear you. And just that Barbie movie as well. Half the reason for that Barbie movie wasn't even about the movie. Do you know how much money Barbie had made through Barbie doll sales? Because that's their real way of making money. It's just, again, and Barbie dolls, again, playing with dolls was never my thing as a kid. But again, my daughter has everything. She loves it. So, because it's actually quite good. It's fun. It's good quality toys. They're not selling crap. If you got a Barbie doll home and you open it out of the packet and its head fell off every time, it didn't matter how much money they spent on it, nobody would buy it. It's a good quality product. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now because I'm bored. Big up to the terrace, especially Sophia and Sky. Well, that's not very polite, is it? But thank you. Lovely ladies here. Terry, we need more female representation here. Love hearing different opinions. Well, look, we've had a lot of women on in the past. Women are always welcome on the terrace. In fact, everyone's welcome on the terrace. You know what I mean? I don't think a lot of channels do what we do now, but we have people from all around the world, male and female, and everything else in between is welcome on the football terrace. I don't really care as long as you're here to speak football. It's all good. I got Terry to talk about Barbie on the football show. I win.
Okay.
Bruv.
Wow, what a win.
I'm not gonna lie, that kind of makes me.
By the way, yes, I'm definitely team Oppenheimer. That film was legit. That film was legit. But again, because it's a really good movie, so they spent all the marketing on it. Because again, generally, marketing companies And the people that fund all of that generally don't fund crap. Every now and then they make a mistake. But anyway, we're going to go into sticky territory in a minute. Listen, I want to say thank you to everybody that has tuned in. Hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribing. We're back tomorrow. I'll have fan channel review in the morning, or I don't know what condition I'm going to be in after staying up to watch the UFC, but that'll be in the morning at the match reactions to the Liverpool and Arsenal game, respectively. I want to give a big shout out to our title sponsors tonight, Brick House Nutrition. I genuinely mean this. If you're not taking this stuff, you need to. It's 100% organic superfoods. You put 1 scoop into your water every single day. And unlike most fruit drinks, unlike most smoothies that are mass produced, it ain't full of any crap. High quality products. There's no additives. There is no added sugar. There's no factory made chemicals, nothing. It is safe for your children. It is just pure organic product in the fruits, veggies, and herbs that are used in all of their range. Get it done now. And the most important, it made me feel a lot better. But it's made my hair a lot thicker. When you get to my age, men, you need thicker hair. But it's great. Go and check it out now. I can give you a 15% discount with promo code SQUAD and free shipping. Scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link below. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again.